Hello, welcome back to the Spider's Web. And what have we got for today? Well, we're going to be doing this little beggar. It's the last piece of our Asterian starter set, and we'll continue in doing this because of IDICBeer's 2015 painting challenge. So let's get cracking, shall we? Now, as you can see, there's a lot of areas that I think should be red. So with that being said, let's get some red on the palette. And we're starting off, as we always have done when we've been using red, with Wasdacker red, which is this colour. And we're going to be doing all, if not most of it, in this colour, because we want a lot of red. With this we are not using much in the line of black, mainly because I don't want to. So no. Painted some of these areas in the silver to make certain colours a little brighter when I put them on. So I'm hoping that works. We can only wait and see. So going around the top edge of this, I'm going to keep this colour just that little bit darker, to be honest, I think. Although, as I say, if I choose to later, I can always brighten it up somewhat, but I'm thinking it might be nice if this was just that touch darker. And yes, I've just gone over the pile that I said I was going to be doing in red. Oh, sorry, I was going to leave black. I've just caught with the red. Doesn't matter. I can always, as you saw in the last video when I repaired a mark that was on the side of one of the flying saucery things, it doesn't take long at all to make any repairs, any adjustments, etc. to any of these models. When you're painting with acrylics, you can do that incredibly easily. So, I mean, even these areas where I've painted in the silvery colour, if I caught any of these silver with the red, I can always come back and repaint with silver. Not an issue. Any of the metal areas that I've missed, any of the metal areas that I've gone over in red, I can always come back and go over them again. Same with the black areas. Yeah. It's just the beauty of painting in paints like this. And I'm not talking just about these models, I'm on about when you're actually painting pictures as well. If you're painting a watercolour and you made a mistake, and basically either live with it or throw it away. Sometimes you can actually ruin a watercolour by a simple little movement of the brush that makes it look absolutely awful. Up to a point you can make corrections to a watercolour, but you've got to be really lucky. Even a drop of water on a watercolour can absolutely ruin it. But with these paints, it's all good. It's all good. And so the only problem with some of these paints is that, especially with red, they're a nightmare to get off your brush. You've really got to wash your brush. And I mean, literally in some cases, wash your brush. You've got to use soap to get rid of them. Okay, next part. So we're just going to go over again all these areas to make them black. And I'm using the Abaddon black. Again, I still have some left over from when I was doing the bigger of the two gun turrets. And there we go. Not a big issue, as I say, for these kinds of paints. It's just a case of, as long as the bit you want to go over is dry, you can go over it. It doesn't matter whether it's a darker colour or a paler colour. I mean, you've seen with one of my paintings, the painting that I did for my competition, I started off with a black canvas and I put lighter colours on top of that. You know, you just see me put red on top of black. And if we go back to actual art painting rather than model painting, if you're going with watercolour, you would do the lighter colours first and then you'd do the darker colours. With acrylics, you tend to work the other way around. You put the dark colours on and then you put the light on. So what you're doing here, you're putting the dark colours on and then you're highlighting. It's the same principle. It's a cracking way of working. But I think what I'm going to do as well, just because I can, is I'm going to change that bit there to black. And I said, nothing is written in stone. You put some paint on if you want to change it later on. It can be done. There we are. I've just noticed I've gone back over some of the red with the black, so we'll just wash that off. Get some of the red on the brush and then just touch up there like so. There's not going to be much in the line of anything else to do with this at the moment, because next we're coming up to the washing. And for washing, we're just going to be using Carroburg Crimson. And once we've applied that, we'll have to leave it to dry. Okay, so while I've been waiting for this to dry, I've gone and cleaned my palette out because it's looking a little bit messy. So we can carry on now. So I'm going to have to restock all my colours on my palette, but I'll do that as I'm going. And what we're going to be starting off, first of all, with is orange. Troll Slayer, in fact no, it's not Troll Slayer orange, with Mr. Step. It's Evil Sun's Scarlet, which is this one. So we'll open up and get some on the palette. There we are. And this is the one we're going to be using for our red areas. I'm going to be picking out certain parts to use this red because we want to keep some of the, well, we want to keep the shadow details and the shadow areas in here, so we don't want to be covering everywhere up. Painting is easy, it really is, but there are things you have to learn. I'm not saying you can just pick it up and get cracking and, you know, be brilliant from the get-go, but I'm not saying that you can't do it. What I'm saying is, it takes a little bit of, not skill, but practice. It's easy, but you have to put the practice in to get it done. If you don't put the practice in, you don't put the time in, you'll never be able to do it properly or satisfactorily. And don't listen to anybody who says any different, because they're lying. You want to paint, you paint because you want to do it. You may not be able to paint as well as these people who enter into the Golden Demon competitions, or what's the other one, the big one there, Crystal Brush, is it, something like that? But as long as you're painting, as long as you're happy with your paintings, that's all that ever matters. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks, as long as you're happy with what you're doing. If you're happy with it, then it's right. But as I say, you need to have the desire to paint, and you need to have the desire to learn. If you've got both of them, you can paint. To start off, you just need the desire to start. To improve, you need the desire to learn. I can't say it any further than that, really. As long as you've got those two desires, you'll do it. Promise you. And that goes with painting these models and painting pictures. I don't care what anybody says, the excuses anybody comes up with. I can't draw. I can't draw. Seriously, I can't draw. I can't draw if it saved my life. But you can do other things that will compensate for that. There are other tricks you can learn to get about that. As long as you want to learn, as long as you want to do it, you can do it. So, that's the red areas done. What we're going to be doing next, using some of the iron breaker, and I keep going back to show you what they are, even though I've shown you time and time again, because I keep getting asked what paints I've been using and this, that and the other. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to break the first rule of painting by just using it straight from the brush and just going, or straight from the brush, straight from the pot, and just doing a little line here and there straight down, because there's not much being done, so I don't see the point of putting a load of it on the palette just for these small areas. Okay, and that's that bit done. I'm also using a little bit of this. No, I'm not. I've changed my mind. In fact, yes, I am, because I'm going to do it on this. I don't know what that's supposed to be, but yeah. So normally you don't use it straight from the pot, or it's advisable not to use it straight from the pot. I don't know what the difference is really. Suppose you're just able to get a bit more control over how much paint is on your brush, but as long as you scrape most of it off when you're doing something like that, doesn't matter. So as I'm concerned, couldn't care less. If by doing that, anybody who paints has watched me do that and gone then what's the word I'm looking for? If I've made anybody go in horror at the prospect of me, using straight from the pots, then yeah, grow up. Now then, I'm using Runefang steel again. I've got a little bit on my palettes. I'm only using a little bit. I'm not going back on what I've just said. What I'm trying to do is shape my brush into a nice point, and you can't do that by rubbing it against the side of a paint pot. You can only do that by putting it on the palette and running the brush, or as you're running the brush through, twisting it. So there are advantages to using the palette when only using a small amount of paint. So as I say, I'm not being hypocritical by saying in one way I'm not using it for a small amount of paint and then putting a small amount of paint on my palette. I'm not backpedaling or anything else. It's just that what I want I can't achieve by just getting it straight out of the pot. Otherwise I would have got it straight out of the pot. And I'm thinking actually I'm going to leave these as silver. Ooh. Some of the black has just come off, some of the red has just come off, so I'm going to have to go over that with some more red, which is not a problem. This is one of those times where, oh, straight out of the pot. Oh, straight out of the pot. Oh, Stephen, oh, what are you doing? Straight out of the pot with paint. Oh, can't do that. Of course I flipping can. There, done. Yeah, I know plenty of people who take it straight out of the pot and paint. I couldn't care less. Don't let anybody say you shouldn't do it. Right, with the go highlight in black, we're using the Fang, same as usual. And for this, a little bit on the brush, on our palette, I'm going to wipe most of it off the palette, and I'm just going to go straight down. Like so. Da 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 da. Done. That's the block highlighted. That didn't take long. Now what we're going to do is, using our old friend Soltec Green, which we've used once or twice before, we're going to go over this part, and notice how I haven't put any on my palette because I want a flat brush and I'm not using a great amount, so oops, slightly off camera there, I do apologise. I'm just fiddly trying to get to different parts of this. So I'm going to do that. I'll just notice I do need a little bit on my palette because I want a point so I can go in here. I should do this bit. I'll do this side as well. And also do this bit on this lumpy bit at the bottom of the black area. I mean, if you wanted to, you could actually use this Soltec Green as an extreme highlight for the black, but that's not what I want for this particular model. Could also use red for this bit, but again, that's not what I want. I'm just going to have to go over sort of the black area because I have gone over with the Soltec Green. But that's not a problem. Next one, I'm going to use a little bit of white. On the palette, because it's going to be mixed in with Soltec Green, so that that will happen. And now finally, just for the areas that I've just done with the Soltec Green, we're going to be going over with just a spot of white. And I'm going to go over with just a little more Soltec Green around the edge of this area because it's looking a little bit dark to light, or a bit of a higher I know what I'm trying to say and it just won't come out. It looks, there's too much of a stark difference between the pale one and the normal colour. I'm just going to go back again and add some more of that. Now there's some wet Saltec green on there. Oh yeah, that looks better. Now I'll just wash the brush, get all the Saltec green off, and then once we've done that we'll go back into the white. And I want a point to the brush. I'm going to do just a little bit of that white on the areas of Saltec green that we've just done already. And after that, black. I'm going to have to put some of that on my palette because I want a nice point to the brush for just going round here to emphasise the curvature. That is the majority of this done. I just need to highlight a little more on the what do you call it? Oh, what am I saying? I just need to highlight a little more on the red areas, which will mean, oh, we have noisy beggars outside. What a surprise for around here. Troll Slayer Orange. All that remains now is a little bit of yellow, but while we're waiting for that, before we can do that rather, using Erd Coat. Oh, hang on a second, I have an issue with my Erd Coat as the lid won't stand up because I've got some of the Erd Coat actually stuck to the lid. Keeps pulling it down. Okay, so we have a little bit of the Erd Coat, and that will be going on here. Like so. We'll be having a little bit on these areas here, and we want some on here as well. And there we have that done. But for now, what we need to do is just get our yellow out. And once again, a little bit of yellow on the palette because I want a rounded, I want a half decent point on my brush, and it's just a case of making a few dots here and there on some areas. We are not going mad with the yellow. And that is it. There we go, that's all that we're doing on that one. There we have it. That is our Asterian army completed. Well, when I say Asterian army completed, I'll say Asterian starter set completed, and it's also the last video in our IDICBeer 2015 January painting challenge. I hope you've enjoyed all the videos that I've done. The more Asterians on the way, more Kings of War on the way, more painting videos and gameplay videos. There's a lot more to come. So until then, take care, God bless, and bye for now.